Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. So, what's the significance of today's title, Jingles? Blame it on the B.U.G.I, because that looks like an SU-100 to me. Yeah, it's a fair cop, you got me. Lobstep, the RNG maker here, is in an SU-100, armed with the 122mm gun, not in the Polish Tier 6 medium tank, the B.U.G.I. But there are two of them on the enemy team. Look, I've been itching to use this title ever since that Polish Tier 6 medium was introduced into the game. It's not my fault that I haven't had a suitable replay for it yet, so I'm using it today. Actually, bit of music trivia here for you pop fans. While the song Blame It on the B.U.G.I was made famous by the Jacksons, it was not written for or by them. Their version was a cover version, but it was written by a Jackson, just not a member of the Jackson 5. The song was originally released in 1978, written by and performed by English singer-songwriter Mick Jackson. No relation whatsoever to the Jackson 5. Well, that's great, Jingles, but what does any of this have to do with World of Tanks? Well, you know, the song title, Blame It on the B.U.G.I, and there are two B.U.G.Is in it. Look, I've been waiting to use this song title for months. If you don't like it, tough. Oh, nice shot. Actually, speaking of Polish tanks, oh, there's one of them. Even though Lobstep isn't driving a Polish tank, well, he could be. Poland used the SU-100. Lots of countries used the SU-100. Some of them still do. Another very nice shot. Algeria has 50 of these things, although they are in reserve, but Morocco has 25, 8 of which are still operational. I'm actually quite surprised that Wargaming hasn't put Polish tank destroyer line into the game. Admittedly, they would mostly just be copy-paste versions of the existing Russian tank destroyers, but well, not like Wargaming has never done that sort of thing before. And another nice shot, this time he doesn't appear to have a fire extinguisher. And he is going to live. But yeah, just because a Polish tank destroyer line would basically just be a cut and paste version of an existing Soviet tank destroyer line, there's no reason for Wargaming to not do it. I mean, they've done worse. Hello. Yeah, that was a fair trade. Just look at the Chinese tank destroyer line as an example. 10 vehicles, at least one of which actually existed. Then again, I suppose, once you get past, well, this thing, the SU-100, you'd have to start making stuff up. But like I said, it's not like Wargaming hasn't done that sort of thing for you. Oh my god, a KV-2. I think that's the first time he has actually missed. And that's quite unfortunate, because if you absolutely definitely need to kill one of the enemy tanks up there, as your team are getting their asses handed to them, 5 kills to 1, it would be the KV-2. 6 kills to 1. This is not looking good all of a sudden. And look, see the Sherman Firefly. Yeah, KV-2 turns up, everybody runs away. But not the Skoda T25. That Hellcat does need to die. Oh, hang on. I've got a cat sitting on top of my computer. See, these are the sort of things they don't warn you about when you start doing YouTube videos. Ooh, nice shot from the M44, took out the Hellcat. T25, you don't want to go around the corner of that rock. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. KV-2 doing some of the worst side scraping I've ever seen. T25 pushes in, trying to take advantage of it, gets stopped by the P43. Very, very wisely decides not to push his luck. Lobstep, well, missed again. Although he did fire the second the gun was loaded, but hang on, what's he doing? Where's he going? Why is he abandoning the T25? Well, look at the map. They're about to get outflanked by half a dozen enemies. The T25 isn't completely abandoned. Those guys on the ridge up there, the Nassau and the M44, can still support him, but that's a whole mess of enemy tanks just pushed right through the middle with very few tanks in any position to do anything about it. And oh, here comes victim number 1. Yeah, you can blame that one on the B.U.G.I. I was going to get that song title in there somewhere. Oh, there's another one. Bounced his shot. And while these random acts of heroism are going on, I just want to draw your attention to the fact that the base is being capped, and the only thing defending it is a T-50-2, who's managed to kill a KV-1S, and is spotting the Hellcat, who is currently capping. and he now appears to have been joined by a Super Chaffee, and there's doing at least some resetting of capture progress there. Lobstep barely pausing to assassinate the second B.U.G.I, charging right up the middle. Unfortunately, we've lost the T-25 on the hill behind him, so he needs to boogie on out of here in case the KV-2... Oh, it's not the KV-2, it's the P-43 who manages to score a hit. Artillery lumbering back into position. You want to be careful here, you don't want to hang around, because that KV-2 could come around the corner or appear on the ridge above you. But then again, if the KV-2 were to come around the corner, that would be good news, because you can one-shot kill that KV-2. He's now on such low health. They've taken care of the P-43. Okay. Base is still being capped. Check out the T-50-2. Look at this hero spotting run. He spotted the 88, the box tank, the Hellcat, the Super Chaffee, and just barely lived to tell the tale. There's the reset. Hellcat destroyed. Base capture prevented with 22 seconds left on the clock. I've seen it closer than that before, but he wouldn't have been able to do a thing if that T-50-2 hadn't done that hero spotting run. 88 turns around to face the T-50-2, very obligingly shows the side of the tank where this gun can penetrate the armour with no problem whatsoever, finished off by the M44. Both that T-50-2 and the M44 have been working like superheroes in this game. Meanwhile, Lobstep yelling to the T-50-2, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Let me help you with the box tank. T-50-2 acknowledges. Watch this for some teamwork. There he is. It's going to take more than one shot to kill him. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Box tank nearly has him, then he gets stunned by the M44 artillery as the T-50-2 swoops him from the flank and finishes him off from the side and rear. That, kids, is how it's supposed to be done. Of course, what usually happens in practice is everybody just pokes around the corner one at a time and then looks at each other saying, well, go on then, you go first, and gives the box tank all the time in the world to get ready. But not today. 2 enemy tanks left, one of them artillery, and still that KV-2, worryingly enough. The KV-2, of course, being exactly the kind of machine that inspires tanks that have low health or thin armour to all sort of cluster around a corner, look at each other, saying, well, go on then, you're the curious one, you go first. But when, of course, the KV-2 can only kill one of you, if you all go for him at the same time, he's dead. And, honestly, the surviving tanks on this team do not strike me as the kind of players to cower around a corner waiting for somebody brave to volunteer to die first. Notice the T-50-2 flushed out the enemy M44. Didn't do what most light tank players on low health would do at the end of a match when finding the enemy artillery. Stop and aim at him while sitting in front of his gun, because that's when the M44 kills you. Instead, he just spotted him and he kept going. And the enemy M44 was finished off by the friendly M44. Again, that's how it's supposed to work. Straight after flushing out the artillery, the T-50-2 immediately heads for the cap circle. Still 7 minutes of the battle to go. He's not going to win by capping, but he's going to draw out the KV-2. We have no idea where he is. The Nassau is even moving down from the ridge line up to the north, probably very nervously scouting out the KV-2's last known position. And the T-50-2 is always going to see the KV-2 first. So he's sitting in the cap circle, drawing him out. If the KV-2 rises to the challenge, there he is, we know where he is. If he doesn't, we win by capping. It's a win-win situation. Well, it's a win-win situation for everybody except that KV-2. Lobstep Gaming sent this replay in, and he was the star. But this was all about the teamwork between him and his surviving teammates at the end of the match. In particular, the M44 and the T-50-2, both of whom were absolutely outstanding. Don't forget, the T-50-2 is only armed with a 57mm gun that does less than 100 damage per hit. Despite that, the little fella was second on damage done, although obviously there's a big gap between his 1252 damage and Lobstep's 4304. But the little fella's efforts saw him rewarded with the Pfeiffer effect and the Bruiser rewards. Similarly, that's not even the right word. Similarly, the M44 artillery also got the Bruiser reward, and thanks to his judiciously spreading the artillery love around amongst as many members of the enemy team as he possibly could while attempting to support his teammates, he also earned the Confederate. We're not quite done yet, however. Could everybody please press F to pay respects for the enemy KV-2, who survived to the end of the battle, in a KV-2, in a Tier 6 battle, and yet somehow only managed to do 258 damage the whole game. Although you could argue that in a way he did better than the friendly KV-2, who only managed to fire one shot before he died, although he did do slightly more damage with it. You know what, I'm just going to leave it up to you guys to figure out which of those two KV-2s got the least shitty end of the stick in that battle. But let's hear it for Lobstep, the RNG maker in the SU-100, Rammer 17 in the T50-2, and 64 Demir 64 in the M44, who were the undisputed heroes of this particular Tier 6 battle here on the Tundra map in World of Tanks. I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.